Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Noma. This is the Black Skeleton farm. I have been asked to make a tutorial for it, so I'm going to. So let's get this tutorial on. First thing I must say about all this is not my design. It's a design that I found on the web, and the way the person explained it was not very simple. So I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. So we're going to start off with this. Currently, you see some black skeletons currently right there on the screen. They are not being crushed, and they are not being smothered, and they are not being hurt by any way, except for maybe some fall damage. And you noticed there is a blaze falling down into my crushing area. They get slid in by the crusher, and they are too high and get suffocated. Magma creams, or magma blocks, as you can see, will jump back and forth through the hole. They will be crushed and suffocated as they fall through. The big ones drop the magma cream, and as they get smaller and crush smaller, the single wide ones are left. As you can see here, the single wide ones are left, and they are left here just fine, and the black skeletons are here. Currently I am in creative for this example. I'm going to switch into non-creative and show you how I do this. Now we are not in creative. If you noticed that the tiny single block magma creams are falling toward us, and they are falling off into a pit. Down in the pit, where there are some iron golems down there. There is 3 down there. You only need 1 or 2, and they will continuously jump out this little gap spot here that I have just for them, to where they do not bulk up and get tons and tons of them, and it reduces the mob cap. As you can see, those will follow me anywhere I want to go, and they cannot hit me or hurt me. These are the on and off switches for the farm. Sometimes they do get stuck there, but if you do a little bit of maneuvering, they'll jump right in the hole sometimes. Or you can get close, since this is iron bars, and punch it, and it will die. And you can get some EXP. Or you can go over and just punch them to make some EXP. But if you're AFKing, this is a good example. From where I am standing right now, I am 128 blocks away from every sidewall, which I will show you in a moment. From this point of reference, where we are currently standing, I have slabbed everything from 128 blocks from where I was standing just a second ago, that way, in all directions. I've also put walls up so ghast cannot fly inside, to where the more I have inside my farm, the more I get. So I'm going to jump over to a creator world and show you how to build this. And let's crack on, as some people would say. I also forgot to mention that we're in 1.10, and the farm does work in 1.10. So here we go. This is the shifting floor design. This is a pausable moment, and this is how it works. I'm going to make a hopper clock right over here for you to see how to make a hopper clock. First, you put a hopper down, put one into it, break the other one, put another one into it. Off the back of those 2 hoppers, you want to put a comparator, like so. Put a solid block on the back of each comparator. After you've done that, put a torch on either side, on both of the backs of the comparators. Put a solid block on top on both sides by holding shift click. Put a torch on the outside, which reverses the polarity. Off those torches, you want to put sticky pistons. Then put your redstone block in the center. Then take any item of 1 and put it inside. That starts the shifting for you. You can put as many as you want, depending on your desired timing you want. Then all you have to do is build off the sides to where you can send your signal the way you want. I use repeaters to send the signal out from the redstone block. And you can send it as far and as long as you choose. But remember, after so many, you have to add another repeater. As you can see, it continuously goes. To turn this off, to make it to where it is a switch, you can put a repeater at the end of that. And you want to put some blocks off to the side to where it does not mess with the redstone signal. And then place a solid block with a lever. And it will turn off the clock by locking that hopper. You can lock it any other way as long as there's a redstone signal getting sent to the hopper itself without messing up the rest of it. That is the shifting floor design. Very simple. Now, you used to be able to use half slabs, iron blocks, and all types of other stuff to make a shifting floor. You have to use soul sand now. It is the only way to get a mob to shift through. For example, of seeing it shift something through, it shifted me right through. Now, to continue on. This is the circuit that you need to make the sweeper work. This is not my design yet again. This redstone lever powers these two pieces of redstone, which power both these sticky pistons, which sends a signal or pulse into this clock. This clock sends the signal continuously up. This sends a secondary signal up. This block right here has to be a half slab. If it is not a half slab, it does not signal correctly. And then all you have to do is build it up to your levels. Now these are the representations of the 3 floors. And as you can tell, the slime block is moving. Now with slime, there are things that are immovable and movable. You want to place immovable objects above and below slime because you don't want them to move or it will mess your farm up. You can use leaves, watermelons, or furnaces, and it will continuously move. Anything that is in its way, for example, me, it will push me out of the way. You do not have to make the floor out of a stone or cobblestone or any other solid block. You can make it out of packed ice if you wish to make them slide a little faster. Now to make this circuit, we'll come over here and do it. First off, you want to start with your solid block with your lever on it. Off of each side, put your redstone. Punch a hole in the ground and put a sticky piston here with a solid block on top. Over here, put another sticky piston with a solid block. Over here, put a redstone. Off of this block right here, you want to put a repeater going out. Then come over here, put 3 repeaters going in and 2 going out. Then connect them. As you can see, it starts the clock. That's one point. Here's your other point. Right here is where you would want to put your first connection, like so. This sends a triple signal all the way up to where you want to do it. That is the clock. This is the whole mechanism that makes the slime pour work. You can extend this path as far as you wish. For example, taking the redstone signal up here and continuing it on. It does not have to be a half slab. It can even be a solid block if you choose it to be. I prefer half slabs. The less that can spawn. Even though mobs cannot spawn on redstone now, it's just a little more convenient. And you can carry more half slabs. But before you do any of that, you must find a crossroad. This is a representation of a crossroad. When you find a crossroad, it will have a ton of stuff around it, but this is just a real quick one, okay? You must find the center of the crossroad, like I have shown here. It is 7 blocks off of each side. These blocks are air blocks. They mean nothing. This is your spawn area. If you count 3 blocks up and put another one on top of it, as shown here, this is also another spawning pad. There are 3 in total. There's same below. Now, you would fill it in with the block of your choice, which I'm not going to do completely here on camera, but this is just an example. After you've filled it in and cleared out everything you need to clear out, you must remember to half slab 128 from the point that you are going to stand in, because the more it spawns in your farm, the more you get. I hope that's a good example. I'm going to give you some examples of crossroads now. This is an example of a crossroad in a world. This is a creative world, so I don't really care about it. So, I found this crossroad, and I marked out what I was looking for. There's 2 of them. You can make this too wide. Just remember that you want your drop-off point to be in the center of those, because you would want to stand here in the middle to where they would spawn on either side. You would clear out everything here that is in your way. All this stuff is goner. But just remember, you want to keep at least 1 block there, so you know where your first spawn point is. And you would continue on. But to help you find a way to find a good crossroads is you want it in a big open area. The bigger the better. This is not an example of a place you would want to make one. There is way too much to slab and way too much to cover with glass. Anything that is not spawnable. So the more you have covered, the better off you are. Just remember to cover it because of the fact of spawning. The less that's in the farm, the less you get. The more it's in your farm, the more you get. This does not take a whole lot of time, but it does take a lot of time. This took me about 4 days to build. If you noticed, this is 2-sided, like I was explaining earlier. This is where my clock is. I put it under and expanded the signal to both sides, going up both ways, as you can see. My sliding floor and its signals are all right over here. My hopper clock is hidden by leaves, which is right here. I currently have it set to 2, not 3, excuse me, and it works just fine for me. This is where I keep my iron golems. As you can see here, they're happy. This is where they kill all of the magma creams that I do not want. This is my garbage dump. I like to make garbage dumps for things I do not need or want. After you've done everything and built your chamber and built your tube down, you must remember that it has to be 23 blocks below the top spawning form. For example, that floor right there that you can see currently, where I stand to right here is 23 blocks. Because they cannot spawn any closer than 23 to 24 blocks. Mine is 23. because I'm using half slabs to stand on, so it makes it 23.5 technically, but it still spawns there. The ivy is to catch the ones that are coming in too hot so they do not die on impact on the slime. It saves them from being hurt. You only need a 3-block gap on it to where they will fall through without any issues and gently. There are other ways to kill the magma creams, but I choose the way I do for easy ability. I have this whole thing covered with glass and leaves, and I hope my example and my tutorial helps you out when you build it yourself. This took me exactly about 5 or 6 days of slabbing, and the rest was like a day and a half. So I wish you well on building it, and I hope this tutorial helps you when you go to build it. So have a nice day, and bye-bye now.